Beginning in 1991, I went to Madrid to cover the first big international Middle East peace conference. It was called by George Bush Sr. And for the next 25 years, I wrote about and observed the so-called peace process, which was based on a simple principle that Israel would give land to Palestinian Arabs in exchange for which they would stop killing Jews. And if you know the history of the last 25 years, you know that Israel did give more and more land, and the Arabs killed more and more Jews. And ultimately, in 2005, Israel pulled out of Gaza and gave the Arabs a whole piece of territory to begin calling themselves a state, and they turned it into a rocket launch pad. Hence the job that my daughter is doing tonight, monitoring the terrorism from there. Israel has learned, well, to be quite frank actually, I think the majority of the Jewish people have always known that there was no peace down that road. The only reason that Israel has ever gone along with this immoral and politically and militarily bankrupt idea is because of pressure from its friends. So that's why they support the so-called two-state solution. My conviction after observing all the outcomes of this diplomatic process is that the state of Palestine that the world wants to form is a weapon. It's a weapon aimed at Israel's destruction. It's every bit as dangerous for the existence of the Jewish people as is the Iranian pursuit of a nuclear bomb. You've been there, many of you, you know the high ground, you know the area that the world says should be given to the Palestinians for their state. You know the danger that it poses to the people of Israel, how it makes it almost impossible for them to defend themselves as a state, and all the other dangers to Israel's fresh water supply, to Israel's ability to grow as a nation. Everything will be stifled, in fact strangled, by the creation of this state. And it's amazing because when I take people around Israel after a few days, they say, well, okay, now we've seen Israel, can we please see Palestine? And I tell them, well, there isn't a Palestine. And they say, well, there is. And I say, no, there isn't. And they say, yes, there is. The United Nations says there is. And 130 plus nations have already recognized the state of Palestine. And I say, yes, well, all the people thought that the emperor had beautiful clothes, but he was still stark naked. There is no Palestine, and there has never been a state called Palestine, and there has never been a nation called the Palestinians. And even if there had been, if we dared to just put the Bible aside for a minute, even if there had been, if they were willing and proved their willingness to truly live side by side with Israel, establishing diplomatic relations, benefiting from one another, living as friends side by side, and humanly speaking, you could say, humanistically speaking, you could say it was worth pursuing. But as they have proved, and as the world knows, and as Malcolm Turnbull knows, and as Donald Trump knows, and as every other world leader knows, the Palestinian Arabs have no interest in living in peace with a Jewish state. No interest whatsoever. The proof of that has been written in buckets of Jewish blood. When at Camp David in the year 2000, Prime Minister Barak, in front of Bill Clinton, he said to Mr. Arafat, he said to Yasser Arafat, here, Mr. Arafat, you can have everything you want, all of it. The Gaza Strip, Judea and Samaria, the old city of Jerusalem, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, Temple Mount, the Western Wall. Here we go. You can have it all for peace. Clinton looked up, and Arafat said, what's the catch? And Israel said, there's no catch. All we want is the right to carry out archaeological excavations on the sites of our temples. That's all we want. We just want to be able to excavate the Temple Mount, where our temple stood. And Arafat responded, we never had a temple in Jerusalem. Came back to the Middle East and launched the second Intifada. And that's already fading in the memories of many people. But the Second Intifada saw every family in Israel, I repeat, every family in Israel buried somebody that they loved who was killed in the terrorism and the violence that exploded in direct response to the offer of the land the Arabs said they wanted. It hit all of us. My children lost school friends in bus bombings. I climbed through more blown apart buses. There was 1 month, March 2003, when every single day of the whole month, bombs were going off. Now, when I was here in 2014, I spoke in the New South Wales Parliament, and the next day there was what you call the hostage crisis happening in the cafe. And 2 days later, I went to speak again. I went back to the Parliament building, and before I gave my address, I walked down to the site. The mountain of flowers was there, crowds around. And I walked through Australians, and I saw white faces, and I saw fear, and I saw tears. As your country was devastated with a shocking reality that this thing has come to your shores. Now, Israel has, of course, experienced something like that almost every day. Yesterday there was an attack. 2 days ago there was an attack. It goes on and on. But in terms of the so-called peace process, this has been the specific response of the Arab side. Time without number. You give us land, we will kill more Jews, and we will continue to praise Allah, because it means if we get more land from you, that means that Allah is Akbar, Allah is greater, we're going to get the rest. And actually feeds their belief that ultimately they will annihilate Israel. And they're not shy to say it. They're not shy to proclaim that publicly, usually in Arabic, though, not in English. But I could talk at length to the subject. I won't. I will just say this: Palestine is a weapon. Palestine is a weapon. Its purpose is to destroy Israel. From the high ground, which they will be given, they will continue to attack what's left of the Jewish state. What will be left of the Jewish state is a strip of land 15 kilometers wide between Tel Aviv and Haifa, where 70% and more of the population lives. They would be under the shadow of rockets that could be fired from Judea and Samaria, from the state of Palestine. And they know this. Now, the international community has almost wall-to-wall supported this idea. And has said and agreed to, in a sense, collaborate with the falsehood that Jewish settlements are against international law. And then in January 2014, a blonde woman, Foreign Minister of Australia, Julie Bishop, she stood up in front of journalists and she said to them, "Show me where it's written that Jewish settlements are against international law." Well, that provoked a firestorm from the Arab world, who threatened your country with sanctions and boycotts and who knows what. And a few weeks later, your Attorney General, George Brandis, said, Australia, under the Abbott government, we will not refer to Jerusalem as occupied. And that provoked more anger from the Arab world. But when these two things happened, I kind of stood up and took notice. I thought, wow, what's this? What's this? What's happening down under? What's happening from Australia? Why are they taking a different position from almost everyone on earth? The only other country that was willing to take a moral stand was Canada at that time, under Stephen Harper, who's a Christian. And then I went down to the yeshiva that year, and I stood at the Anzac Memorial on the 31st of October. And I saw all these soldiers with their funny hats and their funny accents. And I heard the mayor of the yeshiva say to your ambassador, if it wasn't for Australia, there would be no Israel. And I learned for the first time, after living there for so long, I learned for the first time that God had used this country to do something that, in the words of Winston Churchill, was in the fulfillment of a destiny that even he didn't fully understand. And then I had this riveting thought. Every year you say, lest we forget, every year you remember the sacrifices that were made. Every year, and coming up soon, you will commemorate the centenary of this Beersheba battle, when your forces liberated this land from the Islamic world. What about those sacrifices? And what about that history if Australia joins the rest of the world to give the land back to the Islamic world? What then the purpose? What then the point? What then of your legacy? And it's very, very strongly, I thought the Lord said, go to Australia. Go to Australia and speak to the church in Australia, not to the politicians, to the Christians. The church, the real church, is the salt of the earth. You are the salt of your country. Your country is on a decline. It's on a slide towards an abyss of immorality and violence, ridiculous things that happened in the last few days, including, as some of you may have heard, the refusal of the council in Bondi, refusal to permit the Jews to build a synagogue. Not because it might disrupt traffic, but because it will provoke Arab violence or Islamic violence. Crazy. Of course, the assault on marriage, which you're obviously thinking about right now, which is tearing your governing party, your ruling party apart, and all of these things are happening. But 2014, I felt the Lord say, go down and tell Australian Christians they're entering a battlefield now for the direction of Australia for the future. Australia will either continue on the way that it's gone, to be a blessing to the Jewish people, to stand with them, as they were doing under Tony Abbott, or they will take a different tack. And so I came, and obviously I just come speaking, I came and spent time with some Christian leaders up on the Sunshine Coast and told them what was on my heart, and they said I had a blessing to go. And then I traveled just the eastern seaboard on that visit. And everywhere I went, I spoke exhorting Christians to do three things. One, to take a stand on the Bible, not a political stand, but a stand on the Bible, and to proclaim for principalities and powers in this land to hear that as Christians in Australia, you believe that the land of Israel was given eternally and exclusively to the Jewish people, that it is their land, and that you do not want your country to take any part, to play any part in taking away that land. The second thing, and what was suggested there, was that a biblical statement would be drawn up and circulated through the country for Christians to sign on. It wasn't tied to any denomination or any organization, but it would be a proclamation of Christians based on the Word of God, which is truth. And what the media is telling is lies. They're spreading darkness, this is light. So when you hold up the scriptures, you're already fighting the most intense part of the battle. On top of that, the encouragement was to draw up a petition and send it to your federal parliament to thank Prime Minister Abbott for the position of his government, to encourage him to stay the course, and to ask ask the government not to recognize Palestine. I was here for 2 weeks when I got a phone call from an intercessor. He called me and he said, a Labour member has brought a private bill to the federal parliament calling for the establishment for the recognition of Palestine. And it's been seconded and the voting began. This was a Monday, 1st of December. Voting has begun, but then he said the interim speaker in the House got up and left the chamber, and so the debate stopped. And he said they're going on holiday for Christmas on Friday. Let's pray that they don't resume the debate until Friday. He said, I'll check Hansard every day and we'll pray. So that's what we did. But then he also said, you didn't introduce me by my surname, did you? Did you say my surname? People are trying to pussyfoot me by my surname. Nobody can have a surname like Goodenough. Let me tell you something. It's easy to live up to a surname like Goodenough. If I was excellent or outstanding, it would be difficult. But Goodenough. Anyway, that's my surname, Goodenough. So he said to me, you'll never believe what the name of the speaker was that stood up and left the chamber. Is Ian Goodenough. He's from Perth. He's a federal parliamentarian from Perth. And I laughed, and he laughed, and then I stopped laughing, and I thought, no, that's God. Has to be God. If this Goodenough is walking this land, calling on Christians to encourage the government not to recognize Palestine, and another Mr. Goodenough stands up and leaves the chamber and stops debate on Palestine, that's not coincidence, that's out there. I met him, Mr. Goodenough, I met him 2 days ago in Perth. It's interesting. Hello, Mr. Goodenough. I'm Mr. Goodenough. He's a Christian. Nice man. Anyway, the third thing was, and what happened then was that we prayed through the rest of the week and they went away. And for the next 2 months, a petition was circulated thousands of Christians signed on, and it was tabled in both the House and the Senate. So that was one outcome. And then the third thing was that the Security Council of the United Nations, you see, your country does things that maybe you don't even know about that helps Israel a lot. You were sitting on the Security Council. You were coming to the end of your 2-year term. The Palestinian Arabs, the Arab world, were planning to bring a resolution to the Security Council ordering the eviction of the Jewish people from the so-called West Bank within 3 years. That was their plan. And they were threatening all through December to bring it. And I was encouraging Christians to pray that they will bring it. Pray that they'll bring it before January, while Australia is still on the Security Council.